Hello, how's everyone? This YouTube is going to be on the secret life of the Jehovah Witness. I was a Jehovah Witness, and for quite a long time, I grew up I grew up in the Jehovah Witness, in the Jehovah Witness faith, and I was very, very popular. I mean, a lot of people knew me. I would walk in places and somebody would stop me and they would go, "Oh, you were on such and such. Oh, we remember you, or we remember you." So I got to get to know a lot of people. I even visited a Spanish congregation. I went to many different congregations. Our family was kind of popular too. I'm saying this because to let you know that I understand the secret life of Jehovah's Witnesses. And recently, if you've been following my YouTubes, you found that I decided recently, maybe within the last month or two, to go through like the boxes. You know, like when you go through boxes, when you move or something, or when you have boxes in the attic and you say, "I just want to clean out the attic" or something like that, and or the basement, and you start cleaning out all these boxes and it's memories and memories. Well, that's what I decided to do, and it's been a good experience. It's very hard. I mean, a lot of people, I talked to some people, and they said they don't like to do it, and it is very difficult. But I'm at the point now to where it strengthens me because I become like just one person who I am, and especially with the YouTubes because I'm understanding things that I didn't understand. And we do that a lot. Sometimes we have the ability to do that because we can go back in time and see exactly how we did something and how we would do it differently. I do that and I can even see my mindset. I can see like how I was thinking and things like that. So that's why I think it's a good idea. So anyway, that's why I'm just telling you to have. I'm giving you. I'm showing you that I have the credibility to say the secret life of of a Jehovah's Witness. But you know, the funny thing is, I remember this reminds me of a story. My aunt, she was a very cool aunt. I mean, really cool. Well, now you know she was because when I left Jehovah's Witness, we don't talk anymore. But anyway, one time we had just left a party or something, I don't know, a get together, a family get together. And she was talking about a box. And she goes, "You just stay in your little box." Because, you know, in the congregation, in the different congregations, you have like certain friends that you go out with and stuff like that. I was really popular. But, and there's some crowds that are like elite or whatever. It just seems like that, you know. And she was telling me, she goes, "You just stay in your little box," but she doesn't know that that really affected me. And she goes, "When you going to get out the box?" or something like that. And I just really listened to her. You know, when you love an aunt, and her words of wisdom just spark your attention. And I look at it like that. I think she was talking about in a Jehovah Witness sense, but I took it in a worldly sense. That helped me out actually. So she helped me out. So anyway, so now that was a good story just to show you an example of certain boxes that you can get into the organization. I don't know if it really has anything to do with it, but I can probably tie it into something that I'm going to say. So we're talking about the yes, it's going to tie in. So we're talking about the secret life of Jehovah Witness, and it's definitely there. First of all, I'm going to start with myself. I remember in all my tapes, I'm not going to go into detail about the things that I did because they're all in my tapes, especially the ones that I first started out with. And I don't want to confess anything again. Anyway, everything is already there, and I'm not confessing, and I'm not telling any more stories because it's already down. But when I used to do things wrong when I was a Jehovah Witness, when it was against the Jehovah Witness rules, I notice now, going back, like I said, with the thing, with the gift that we have from God, and I can see that I lived in a world. I mean, I lived in a Jehovah Witness world, but I formed a box. I guess you can say a box, since I'm using it from that. I'm tying this in with, but I'm not talking about any kind of box. I'm talking about, I'm using just the box. But I'm saying in that box or space, we we form a box or a space as a Jehovah Witness. And in that box, we could do anything that we want. The only rule is that we can't let anybody know. So when we go to a get together, we keep our box closed. Nobody knows. Like I told you, some of the things that I did, it was in my box. Nobody knew. I would have died if someone found out. I have a point to make. Always get points when I'm talking, and I'm trying to see if I should put it in. I'm just gonna wait. But anyway, we keep the box. Like I said, when I used to sin against what Jehovah Witnesses felt was right, it was wrong, and I kept that in a box. And there was one time when something that I did with someone who was in the world, when I went to the meeting one time, and this isn't a tape, but I'm not going to explain what happened, so I'm being very general because I don't want to go over it again. And this person came to the meeting because they were a sibling of one of the Jehovah Witnesses. And I almost died because that person had my secret in my box. That person was inside the box that I had created. And I thought the person was going to say something, and I swear I would have died. I would have fainted out in the congregation if they would have said anything to me. Not just that, but they came close, because it even came closer because that person, when we had these tuxedos that we had to get because my sister was getting married, and me and my brother went for different fittings. You can go get fitting anytime. And my brother got the fitting, and he came home and he goes, that, the person that I'm telling you about that's in my box said hi. Oh, that person is a really nice person. And I almost died. And he got his fitting, and I had to go get my fitting. And when I got the fitting, I was just like, they worked in the place where you get the fittings. And I didn't say anything to that person whatsoever. I did not know how to handle that situation because it was in a box that I couldn't open up. Not just that, but sometimes I would go out, just regular, like, I'm not going to say that one because that one's really in detail in the beginning. This is nothing that I was doing wrong at all, but it was a psychological problem because sometimes when you do things as a Jehovah's Witness, you're afraid that people are going to see you. And the only thing I was doing was like, and I was doing something with music. I wanted to go to this musical event. It was like a music club, but I couldn't let anybody see me. So this is the honest truth. So I got a wig, and I got a hat, and I got jogging pants. And I went to the event. There was nothing wrong with the event. I mean, I wasn't dressed up like any woman or anything. I was dressed up like a man, but I had like long hair, and I had like a hat on. So it's nothing like drag or anything like that. It's nothing to do with sex or anything. It was just that I was a disguise. I disguised myself and it was at night because I was afraid that one of the brothers were going to see me. Somebody, it was just so psychological. And I wanted to go to this song event. The only thing they did at the song event was each person would like get up on the stage and give their song or talk about music, okay? And then sometimes they would dance or whatever. You know, they would have music, they have a band there, and you get up and you like dance. And I swear, I was very young. I was like so young, maybe in my 20s, early 20s, very early 20s. And I didn't want anybody to see me driving there. It was like far away from my home, but I was still afraid. That's how afraid I was. And I got into a place. They sold drinks and things, and I don't know if I got a drink or whatever, but I was just like there. Everybody was like looking at me like I was weird, you know. And then when they said dance, I got up and danced and everything. Nothing strange at all. It was like a music thing. And I think I did it again, dressed up, and I gave a song one time because I was in this club. I wanted to do this club, this singing club, and I did it again. And I'm almost sure I was in like I had to disguise everything, sunglasses and everything. And that was in my box. I couldn't expose the box to anybody. And then there was another time when I wanted to go. I never had been before. Even my sister went to a disco. I never been to a disco. And I wanted to go to a disco. So I dressed up again. I put on a wig. I put on a hat, like a, what do you call it? It was just a regular, like, a cap. And I put on jogging pants and some kind of windbreaker or whatever. And I had to get a chance, and I got the chance to drink, and I got a chance to dance. And nobody knew who I was. But it was at night, and I'm almost sure, no joke, I was so afraid that somebody was going to see me, a Jehovah Witness is going to see me. So I had to wear the disguise. And then one time I almost won a contest because I was dancing with this girl. Only thing about it is that she didn't know how to dance. I knew how to dance very well. And the guy said, you dance extremely well, but if you didn't have that partner, you would have won. So, but I was in, everybody looked at me and they go, okay, we'll play along with you. So I did that, and I remembered how that's how it was. And I had my box. And I would go to New York sometime to drop music, and I wouldn't let anybody know. But I was living in my box. And I didn't want anybody to find out about my box. And if they did, I would have died or committed suicide, maybe. I mean, I'm not sure, but I hope that's not. But I told my experience first to show you that all of us, so when we go to the get together, do you think it's just me? One thing I found out, especially about myself, when I feel a certain way, and this is the honest truth, it's not just me. I mean, wow, I find out it's so many people. And I know now because I'm older and I can see it when I go back to the boxes. And when we go to get-togethers, I noticed one thing going back. Nobody talked about anything. At the get-togethers, nobody talked about. I can't remember any kind. I can remember some games, but I can't remember anything that. I mean, I remember. I have a good memory, and I remember things that happened in my family, and I remember all these things. But what I'm saying, I don't remember any like fun stories or really enjoyable times that the conversation that we had. And everybody had their box because there was so many things that you can't talk about. Especially now, I can see it when I'm going back, and I'm very mature, and I pretty much have a good knowledge about a lot of things and how people think. And I can see now that everyone has their box. Every Jehovah Witness, you might think not, but everyone has their box. The majority, like everybody in the world, they're pretty much open about the things that they do and everything. Just think about it. They can't do 70% of the things that you do in the world. Excuse me. So you can imagine that every Jehovah's Witness has their own box. And that's the funny thing, is the fact that it's just their box. And this is helping me because I got this video of a question that I asked at a former video about what makes ex-Jehovah's Witnesses strong. So I'm learning information so I can do that video. So we all had a box, and we went to get-togethers, and we had fun at the get-togethers, and we had a box. It weren't, one thing about it, it wasn't who we were, because I was just thinking how many personalities. Like, I can think back at the parties, and I can't think back of like um a certain amount of personalities, because everybody has to have the same personality. If you think about it, they all had to have, and I went to numerous amounts of get-togethers. I was invited to so many get-togethers. I loved get-togethers, but if I think back, there's nothing that, there's no personalities. Everybody had to do the same thing. Even I lived with my friend. I lived with a very close friend who I love very much. It was me and him. And we kind of did, I mean, we kind of talked about, what's happening, but we had to, I remember it was just, we still had to have that same personality. So I really didn't get to know, he told me a lot of things that he did in the world. It was so easy because that's all he had to do was when I was in the world, because he didn't grow up in the truth. He didn't grow up in the truth. But everybody has their little boxes. So now we know that everybody has a box. And if you think back, even if you think back to right now, you think back, you think about the Jehovah's Witnesses and your friends right now, and you can't bust this wall. And what is it? It's a wall. I mean, I can't think about what they're doing because they all have their box to themselves, and they all have one personality that they have to keep and show to everyone. Okay, now I'm going to go into the family to solidify the fact that I know about the boxes. And I'll go through each one of my family, and they have nothing to do with me now because they don't even talk to me. They're not even like my family. And they'll do that until the end. Well, starting with the oldest is my sister. I mean, like, I'm almost sure. I mean, I'm almost sure for positive. Oh, I'm not going to say her. I still won't do that. But I put it kind of in the last video, in one of the videos, because it was just something that happened. But she has a box. I know she has a box. And there was one time that she not left the Jehovah's Witness, but she was like bad, And I was driving, and I saw her driving with somebody, and she called me. And she said something. But one thing, and my brothers and sisters always told me, they could tell me anything because I don't have any opinion about anything. I mean, they know they know for a fact, and they told me this point blank. They know that I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to do anything against them. I'm not going to have any opinion because, okay, I haven't got to all my sisters, but she has a box. Okay, so I know she has a box. I'm trying to tell you. She was in a congregation, but she has her box. And when I see her with all the other people and in the family as a Jehovah's Witness, it's that personality. That same personality that everybody has to keep. Going to my brother, he got this fellowship, so I'm excluding him from this. But I'm sure he had his box when he was a Jehovah's Witness. Then I go down to my brother. Okay, this brother, okay. I can say we were, I'm not going to say what happened, but I know he was in a box because my mother told me, I gotta make the story to keep into this box thing. He had a box. I just want to tell you. I mean, like, he did things that, I mean, that you would not believe in his box, but he was a Jehovah's Witness. Because one time I was working with him, and I'm keeping this general because I'm going to stay on the boxes. I was working with him with the same person, and the boss came to me and they go, "Where is he at?" And I go, "I don't know." "Well, where is he at?" "We didn't know, we never found him." Okay. But when he came back, you can't ask him any questions or anything. You can't ask him any questions about anything. Box. Okay, he has this lot. And now another one, I'm going to down to my next one. Next sister, I don't remember. This girl never worked. She was a housewife. But I remember going over her house, and it was when Boy George came out, and she wanted me to see Boy George, and I have never seen a video, and I was Jehovah's Witness, and as a Jehovah's Witness, you don't know what drag is, you don't know what homosexual is, you don't know what gay is, you just don't know, you don't think about things like that. So so when she saw him, she didn't understand either. So she goes, "Oh, look at this guy. I want to show you this guy. He's coming on the video." It was when MTV had first came out. So they showed him on TV, and I go, "Wow, that is so neat." I mean, I could not believe it. But then after the video, I was getting ready to leave from her house, and she says, "Pierre, I have to tell you something." I go, "What?" And she goes, "I got this money underneath this refrigerator. I know it's not real anymore, anyway now. That was años ago. And I don't want anybody to know. If anything happens to me, I just want you to know that this money is under here." And I go, "Okay." And I knew she has a box. Something that happened, something that she can't express to anybody else. And what did we do after I talked to her? Go back to the personality, like nothing happened. I know that I can't even talk about it, and she can't even talk about it. So she just opened up her box to me. Next is the sister. Oh, one time she came to me and told me about, because they trusted me, she told me about her box, big one, okay? Then it was me, you already know mine, and then my brother, okay? So one of his boxes was exposed because I'm almost sure he was put on private reproof. I don't know if many people know about private reproof, but he was on private reproof. And I know he has a big box, but he's a Jehovah's Witness, and you keep everything in your box. If you keep everything in your box, you'll be all right. And even they wanted me to keep a box when I got my disfellowship, but I didn't want to keep the box. That's the story. I explained everything back. So now I know. So everybody has a secret life, and that's the secret life of the Jehovah's Witness. Don't spread it to anyone. When you go to get-togethers, you ever see the Stepford Wives? It's like that. Everybody sits together and, "Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? I'm fine. How are you?" And you go to the get-together. Hi, brother. Hi, Nina. Hi, Anne. Hi, Jeffrey. Hi. Wasn't that a good service? Yes. Are you going to the meeting tomorrow? Yes. I'm doing just fine. How was your day? Even after I've done something. Oh, my day was just fine. I had a great time. Hey, you know what? There's a get-together tomorrow. Do you want to go? Yes, of course. I would love to go. Do you want me to bring anything? Yes. Why don't you bring some potato chips or something? That would be nice. Hey, next week we have a what was that? I want everybody. I want to have a Tupperware party. We're gonna have a Tupperware party next week, and you're invited. Okay, and that's how it was. So now you know about the secret life of the Jehovah's Witness. That's why you can't crack it, because everybody has their own secrets. Thank you very much.